Perfect. All right. Wonderful. So, just for everyone who is tuning in, I see some familiar names, but if this is your first time tuning into one of our webinars, Discover Core has been around for over a decade, and really our mission is to inspire travelers to become advocates for our planet's natural wonders, cultural treasures, and the local communities. We really want to build a type of travel that connects people to each other, and to the place around them, and create memories that last a lifetime. And our style of travel is really small group immersive. We also offer private experiences around the world, depending on your group size, that are thoughtfully designed for you to actually connect with again, the place around you. And our sort of recipe is working with these small groups, providing an immersive and educational experience that also has a level of like purpose. So every trip has a different purpose kind of behind it, and we'll get to explore what South Africa's is. And always including that local culture, understanding like culture when it comes to food, around places, history, and making sure that we give back to the communities that are hosting us and being able to, hopefully leave it better than how we're even receiving it. And so I am a travel specialist at Discover Core. I've been working for DC for a little over 3 years now. And I now kind of focus on being a travel specialist. So fitting you into the right trip, understanding where your goals are, where you want to go, why you want to go there, and making sure that we fit you into the right trip and find that perfect destination for you. And I am, as I mentioned earlier, I'm from Canada, or I'm in Canada right now working remotely, which is amazing, getting to visit family. But my home is usually Costa Rica. So I've been there for about 7 years and been, yeah, just so blessed for the past few years to be working with Discover Core and seeing more of the world than I had seen previously. So if anyone has any questions after this about other destinations, you can hit me up and I'll be more than happy to work with you. But now I'll hand it over to Colette for an introduction.
Yes. Hi, everyone. I am Colette. I am also a travel specialist like Lynn. So I am here to fit you with the perfect trip for you. But I am also a pre-departure coordinator, which means I own certain destinations, so I follow through with you, especially if you choose South Africa, since I am the coordinator for South Africa. I will be your point of contact the whole time with our partners and just making sure that you are ready to go on your trip. Um, I mentioned earlier, I have a lot of experience in South Africa, much time in Cape Town. I'm in Cape Town right now, and I have experienced this trip for myself just back in April of this year. So it is fresh on the mind, and I'm excited to tell everybody about it.
Yeah, and all the photos that we're using in the slides are photos from Colette's recent trip. So, yeah, well, you'll have to give us some deeper insight to all your photos here as well. But I had so much fun going through them and getting to see all your amazing shots of the wildlife.
For sure.
Yeah, I'll let you also introduce just the pre-departure support that you offer, Colette, if you want to give everyone a little overview of this resource.
Yeah, absolutely. This is our travel portal. It is like our Bible, essentially. This is the one-stop shop for all of the information that we have compiled over the years about every destination. So you'll have access to this for any destination that you choose, but it's got everything from, flight windows to packing lists to any information about visas or currency, tipping, all of those questions that you might have. We have likely been asked them before and have tried to put the answers in this travel portal. So that is a resource that's open to everybody, and I would definitely recommend saving it
Yeah,
once you sign
bookmarking it.
up.
Yes, it is. You're going to visit this site a lot if you travel with us. It really is a one-stop shop for all information, and our pre-departure coordinators are amazing at making sure, like, once your evaluations from trips come through, to kind of add those recommendations. If anyone mentions anything, we're always updating this resource and making sure that it's as accurate as possible for you. But yeah, I want to dive right into it. I know there's a lot to discuss with South Africa, given we also have extension options. And yeah, so Colette, I would love to bother you for a typical day on this itinerary. What does that look like or feel like? And can you kind of walk us through the logistical pieces of the 10-day itinerary and where we're going?
Absolutely. So you will fly. If you are just doing the main trip and no extensions, you will fly in and out of Johannesburg, South Africa. There is a long drive on the first day of the trip from Johannesburg to that Greater Kruger region. And then on the last day of the trip, we actually book you a flight back from Greater Kruger to Johannesburg. So the drive is really nice. It's called the Panorama Route. It does take quite a while because we make a ton of stops for pictures and food and snacks and all those things, but we don't want to make you do that drive on the way back after a long 10-day trip. So we just get you on a short 45-minute flight back, and we handle the booking of that flight for you so that you can just do round trip from Johannesburg. Um, for this trip, you will want to be ready to wake up early. The game drives start pretty much 5:30 a.m. on the dot. They are normally in sequence, so back-to-back days rather than spreading the game drive days out. That is because it's better for tracking the animals when you can track them in consecutive days and you're not going one day and then you skip 3 days and then you try and go back and it's like, well, I have no idea where that leopard went, you know?
Mhm.
And so that's why we do it that way. Sometimes the order is mixed up just depending on the availability of the additional activities that we do in the community. But in general, early wake up time, you get on the road, open air vehicles, winds blowing through your hair. You're watching the sunrise. It's really lovely and peaceful. You spend a few hours doing a morning game drive, and then you'll eat breakfast out there on the bush, in the bush. And your guide will pack that for you. And then you'll come back to camp for a few hours and have some chill time, some relaxing time by the pool, or if it's winter, maybe by the fire pit instead. It does get quite cold. But you do have time to relax, during most afternoons with the game drives, and then you'll go back out again for an evening game drive and some sundowners, which are lovely and probably my favorite part, which I'll get into later. Um, and then so you've got like 4 days of mostly game drives with some talks sprinkled in there about the leopard research project and South Africa in general. And then we also go into the community itself and we do a few different things. We'll visit an elephant sanctuary. We will visit a animal rehabilitation center. We will visit a local women's group, as well as an after-school program for kids. And then we will meet the local canine anti-poaching unit as well. So you get a really well-rounded sense of all of the efforts of conservation. Oh, and we also go make jewelry out of recovered snares, which is really cool. I actually should have put mine on, that I made myself, but it's a really cool organization called Down to the Wire, and they
Such
get
a good name.
donations
Mhm.
from anti-poaching units of the unfortunate millions of tons of snares that they find in the wild, and they turn them into really beautiful jewelry. And you'll be able to do that yourself and make your own unique piece of jewelry. So it's really cool. So lots of animal time, but then pretty much
Balance.
equal time in the community as well.
Yeah. Absolutely. No, those early game drives are a good reminder for people because I think people forget like to see all of the amazing animals we, want to see. We do got to wake up a little bit early. I remember it's, similar when I spent some time in Kenya where you got to wake up before the sunrise and be able to catch it and you don't want to miss it. Once you see those colors
No.
and how it looks, you might take a nap later, but it will be worth it. I
100%.
promise.
You'll have time to take a nap, but it's so beautiful. I'm not a morning person, and that I was like so happy to be up and watching the sunrise and it's so
Yeah.
peaceful out there. So, yeah, it's really lovely. And then you'll go to sleep at like 8 p.m. right after dinner. Everyone's like, "Okay, I'm done. We're going to
Yeah,
bed."
good night.
Yeah.
Yeah, you adapt. Yeah, and we'll get you home early so you can sleep and be rested for the next game drive. And it makes sense that we have to do it, back to back for those wildlife sightings.
Hmm.
So I know you spoke a little bit about Cape Town. Maybe you can
Hmm.
give us a little bit more of an overview of what our extension like looks like there, and then also Victoria Falls and what people can do and if they can do both. That would be awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. You can do both. You can absolutely stack these. We have people doing that in this upcoming year. Um, so they're both 5 days, 4 nights. They're going to be extremely different from one another. Cape Town,
Mhm.
as you can see in that photo, is a big city. So it is going to be very different than the bush life that you just got accustomed to for 10 days.
Mhm.
Um, but you get to see and do all of the quintessential Cape Town things. That huge flat mountain range that you see right there, that's called Table Mountain. You'll take a cable car up Table Mountain. You'll go see the penguins in Boulder Penguin Colony, which are just free roaming penguins on the beach. And you get to see beautiful views and go to Robben Island, which is where Nelson Mandela was imprisoned. Um, it's a pretty packed itinerary for Cape Town because there's so much to do. So again, it is 5 days, pretty much full on, but you're doing all of the great things around Cape Town. You can either do whale watching or you can go and do a tour of the winelands.
Mhm.
Um, and then Victoria Falls is kind of the complete opposite, right? So Victoria Falls is in Zimbabwe, so it is technically another country. It is definitely more remote. There is not as much planned activities. It's more so choose your own adventure.
Mhm.
So you'll get there, we'll take you to the lodge. You'll have, your kind of alone time and downtime for dinner. The actual tour of Victoria Falls is, of course, organized by us and included, but you do have at least one full day where you can choose whatever you want to do that day because there's tons of vendors in the area, right? They're selling helicopter tours and, all these safaris and different types of things. So, that one is a little bit more laid back in the sense that you just have the time to do what you choose to do. But 5 days as well. So, of course, we have some planned activities and meals and things like that. But these two extensions are very different from each other, but you can do both if you like.
Totally. No, that's a great description. And um, yeah, those areas of like the falls, like you said, so many options there. So it just kind of makes
Hmm.
sense for people to be able to choose their own adventure and see how you want to spend your time. But so beautiful, such an amazing place to be able to experience both Cape Town and Victoria Falls. So you mentioned a couple of them already, Colette, on I feel like these purposeful moments are what we like to call moments that matter on the itinerary that I think make our trip, different. These moments that we get to experience the real local community and meet people that are doing really great work. So we'd love for you to dive a little bit deeper into those moments and tell us more about them.
Absolutely, yeah. So the parts that really stuck out to me were what you see pictures of here, which we're meeting with the local women's group, and they do a few different things with this group. First of all, first and foremost, they teach women self-defense. So you can kind of see all of the equipment back there with Miss Lily, and they teach just local women in the community how to defend themselves when it is, sometimes unfortunately necessary. But the other really amazing thing that they do, which is this picture on the left here, is that they teach women all about agriculture and how to grow their own food so that they can, not only feed themselves, but they can also sell the food and make money for themselves so that they're not relying so much on other people. And these women and the impact that this program has made on them. It's called the 10 Trees Project because they give the women, seedlings for 10 trees to grow just within their own yards. And this was in somebody's yard. As you can see, it's like this beautiful overhanging, I don't know, I think those are
Are they passion
avocados.
fruit? Oh, really? Yeah. Oh my gosh.
It
It looks
might be
like passion
passion
fruit.
fruit.
Yeah.
But it was, I
Good.
mean, they take so much pride in their gardens, and it means so much to them to have this independence, and not have to rely on other people to take care of them. Some of them, would get choked up just talking about it because it is a very, um, not competitive program, but they don't just do it for everybody because they want to make sure like these people are serious about it. They're going to take it seriously. So it's an honor for them to be chosen for part of this project. So those were definitely some of the most impactful moments for me was meeting, these women's groups.
Look at that smile too.
She
It's
is so
so
cute. I love
sweet.
her.
Yes.
I love her so much.
Oh, absolutely. No, and I mean, all of those experiences, I kind of, lead into this question of what else, makes this particular safari different from all the others. I'm sure many people are seeing online. There's so much out there. There's so many companies doing safaris, doing trips. So what else makes
100%.
this one different, this one unique?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's overwhelming the amount of safari options that there are out there, even within this area that we go to, Greater Kruger.
Mhm.
So, just for that distinction for people, there is Kruger National Park, which technically anybody can drive through unguided as long as you have a closed vehicle. So, it's a bit chaotic because everybody and anybody can go, and they do because it's one of the most famous, safari reserves. We are we only go into Kruger National Park itself one day. So you will see it, but the majority of the time is spent on much smaller private reserves where there's almost nobody else around. And so what's really special about our partners and who we work with is that not only is the camp itself small, family run, locally owned. Um, Also, the reserves we go to, their main goal is the sustainability, of the animals. So they don't let more than, I think it was genuinely when I was there, I think it was two vehicles at a time. And we do different reserves, but you're going to different small reserves in the area. So there's like no one else around. So it really is this beautiful, almost private experience. I barely saw anybody else the whole time we were there. And the guides at this camp are really amazing. And I mean, it's honestly astonishing how much knowledge they have. It seems like fake. You're just like, how could you possibly know what sound that was? Like what animal that was coming from. But they're so passionate and like so happy to share their knowledge with everybody. And they are actually tracking the animals. They are looking at the ground. I mean, you just watch their faces and they're just constantly, literally heads on a swivel because they're always
Good.
on the lookout. But it was so cool to, see him look at the ground and say, okay, it's this fresh, it went this way, let's try and go find it. Whereas,
Cool.
to be honest, with some insider knowledge, a lot of these bigger safari camps, they actually like track the animals with technology.
Hmm.
So they have collars and they don't necessarily tell guests that, but a lot of these bigger reserves, because they want to make sure they're like giving the people what they want, um, it's not cheating necessarily, but it's a bit more authentic experience
Right.
when the guides are actually tracking themselves. And sometimes that means you don't see certain animals because
Right.
they don't want to be found. And that's just the name of the game, when you're dealing with
Totally.
wildlife. But we had the most fun actually just like doing the tracking part. Like we never saw a leopard. Our poor guide, he was trying so hard and he wanted to get us a leopard so bad. And we could literally hear it behind us, like
Wow.
hear the leopard making the noises. And it just did not want to be seen. So we
Yeah.
didn't see it.
Yeah.
But like that was the fun of it was being like, oh, it's right there. Like
Yeah.
we can hear it in the bush
Yeah, like he
behind
can
us
see us,
somewhere.
but we can't see him.
Exactly. It knew exactly where we were. Um, so yeah, it was still just as exciting, even though, we didn't actually get that sighting.
No, absolutely. It's so impressive that tracking ability, and it really is like I want to say like a lost art form now with technology for some. Like
Yeah.
you have to learn that it's not something that we're just born with. You really do have to understand. It's like forensics almost. You're like really understand
Yeah.
what happened here, where did they go, what are they doing, and how do we find them? It's amazing.
I will never not be impressed by those guides, honestly.
No, and I mean these are some of your shots. So what animals
Mhm.
did you see then? I know that you also had the opportunity to go somewhere as well to get this shot, right?
Yeah, so I did want to just caveat that cheetah photo is from the Moholoholo Animal Rehabilitation Center. So that was behind a fence. We
Yeah, it
did not
wasn't
get
in
that
the
close to the
open.
cheetah,
Yeah.
but we were that close to all of those other animals, the elephants, the baboons, the zebra. They don't say zebra like Americans do. They'll make fun of you for that.
Zebra. Yeah.
Zebras. But no, I mean, we saw on my particular trip, we saw everything, including like all the big five, the buffalo, the elephant, lions. We saw lions in Kruger. We did not see rhino and we did not see leopard, but we actually did see a cheetah. Um, when we were driving to the airport. So that's the
Wow.
thing. Even when you're on the main road, driving to the airport on the last day, this is actually a funny story. Because again, like I mentioned, we had been tracking this leopard the whole time. And we're going to the airport, so we're, going at normal speed. And one of the ladies on my trip, she sees something and she's like, "Stop! I think it's the leopard." So our guide like slams on the brakes and like reverses it. And it actually ended up being a cheetah and not a leopard, but still just as
So
exciting.
cool. Yes.
Um, Cheetahs are a little bit more rare in that area, but all of these, trips after me, they've been seeing it all. They've had some incredible lion sightings, like where
Yeah.
they're actually like making a kill.
Yeah.
So you do have to also be prepared. This
You'll
is
see it all. Yeah.
this
It's
is
the
actual
circle of
wildlife.
life. Yeah.
Exactly. Um, they don't care that you are there
No.
watching them. They're just doing their own thing. So yeah, it really just, it depends on the time
Hmm.
and just what, like I said, what wants to be found that day. So even if I didn't see a leopard, doesn't mean you won't on your trip.
Totally. No, it's like what we always say, like we depend on nature, but they don't really depend on us too much. So they're
Yes.
if they want to be seen, they'll come out. But I loved all your shots of the elephants too. I got this one because it was so close up, but
The
And
elephants
they were,
get very, very close.
yeah.
Very close. They will approach the vehicle. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's so amazing. And the accommodations on the trip, I know it can vary sometimes, but let us know the vibe. I love this shot that you took of the pool. Looks very
Yes.
relaxing.
Yes, so again, it is a small family-run property. They have 6 tents total. So part of what that means is we sell out very quickly for this trip. But
Mm.
that also means that sometimes we're not at the same exact spot. It's always run by the same team and the same partners, but it's not necessarily just one spot for every single trip. So it's always beautiful. It's always, like certain standard of accommodation, but this is where we stayed. It is tented camps most of the time. Sometimes we stay in like lodge style, but I can always, let you know where we're planning on being if I know already.
Hmm.
But yes, this one was right on the river, so you can't really, well, actually, you can kind of see in the
Kind of
top
see.
right corner.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is just a really large river. There are hippos, there are crocodiles. That's also a really big lawn that animals will just roam up and down. Um, the reserve that this is on is not a big five reserve, so that means you don't have to worry about a lion coming up to your
Great.
tent. But there are other animals. Um, like, it's mostly antelope and monkeys that will kind of be around campsite. The monkeys are very sneaky. You have to make sure you're not leaving food out because they will take advantage. But yeah, they're beautiful. And this one has a really nice pool. Most of the time, uh, almost 100% of the time, they have a pool and a fire pit anywhere that we go.
Right. Yeah. No, and I liked what you said earlier where it's really like a retreat, or you were telling me this at least,
Hmm.
retreat style, because we're not moving around so much on this itinerary like we do on some of our other trips. In if I were to compare, for example, in Kenya,
Yeah.
like we move around 3 times, where this we're just gonna stay at the same property, right?
No, I'm totally glad that you brought that up. I did forget that aspect. Yes, so this is just one spot. Like, yeah, in Kenya, you're like driving hours from one camp to another every few days. That's not what we do here. We stay in the greater Kruger area. Um, and it is very relaxed. Like I said, you have time in the afternoons where you can I was most of the time posted up on one of those lounge chairs and reading a book,
Yeah.
or I dragged one of these bean bags down into the lawn and just like, laid in the sun. But yes, I would definitely describe it as retreat style. It's so quiet, it's so peaceful. I
Mm.
loved it so much that I'm going back in a few
Yeah.
weeks on my own accord. So that is just a plug. I went on our trip and it was amazing, and I'm going back in a few weeks
Yeah.
because it truly feels like my happy place now. But I will say it's not a super active itinerary. So if you're someone who likes to be like, go, 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 you want something to do all day, every day, this might not be the itinerary for you. And there's also, I just want to mention, there's not a gym facility on site. People do ask me that quite a bit.
Mhm.
So there's lots of space for you to, do your own yoga routine or Pilates or, just do some stretching or, of course, swimming laps. People on my group were swimming laps, but there's not a gym facility. So you have to be okay with just, relaxing.
Yeah, in the afternoons or when you get back, having that downtime. And it's such a fair point. Like, we do have other options for people, and we like to make sure you understand the pace of each trip because I feel like our trips often reflect like what's going on in the local environment. And this is a very like quiet, peaceful place, and we're gonna take
Yes.
advantage of being able to provide like you all with that experience going on the trip. But sometimes we're in the hustle and bustle of a city and we're gonna be moving around a lot. But this itinerary isn't necessarily like that, so it's a great reminder. for people as well.
100.
I see some questions as in the chat, and we will get to those. So just give us a minute, and we will open it up for the Q&A and handle all those awesome questions that are coming in. So if anyone else has questions in the meantime, you want to throw it in already, please do. But we'll address them shortly here. So tell us, Colette, about the food. Tell us what we can
Yes.
expect when it comes to the amazing meals
Oh
that
my
the trip
gosh.
has to offer.
The food was so good. Obviously, you see a few pictures of it here. The breakfasts, when you're at camp, they have, sit down, you order essentially whatever you want for breakfast. Very large meals. I'm not a big breakfast person, so I was like, please, just one egg.
Yeah.
Like they want to feed you. And the chefs on site are just amazing. So you do eat a few meals, off site, either in the bush or when you're doing activities. So your lovely guide will pack something up for you. It's different, day by day, but this is an example of a breakfast in the bush. Those are egg sandwiches, and then he's got some really beautiful yogurt parfaits back there, and also homemade muffins, which were delicious. And then they'll bring some tea and coffee for you as well. So those are your bush breakfasts. And then the other photos are example of lunch and dinner. That thing up top, I believe, is like a wonton type deal.
Mm.
And then in the bottom middle, that's ribs. We can accommodate dietary restrictions. So the food is it's not, it's more westernized. It's not like extremely African food. They do have buffet styles some nights, so you can pick and choose, and they'll have a few, different African foods that you can try. But dinner every night is a three-course meal. So you
Wow.
always get a starter, a main, and a dessert. And it's all amazing, but those desserts are
Next level.
just is so impressive because again, this place is just out in the middle of nowhere, and these chefs, like you would never know. They're just whipping it up. So you will not go hungry. Um, and the food is, yeah, it's really delicious.
Oh my gosh, it looks so good. Yeah,
And
I
they'll
didn't
do a
realize
braai.
what they were, the parfaits, but now I got
Yeah.
that looks
Yeah, they've
awesome.
got granola and fresh fruit in there. And then they will do a braai one night, which is a South African barbecue, although they would all tell you it's better than a barbecue.
Yes.
How? I don't really know, but it's like the vibe they say. So
It's the
we'll
energy.
do that for you as well. But if you have dietary restrictions, just let me know. We can pretty much accommodate most, if not all, dietary restrictions on this trip, which is really nice because
Yeah.
everything's made fresh by a chef.
Totally. And not every destination can we do that sometimes.
Yeah.
So if anyone has questions about destinations and dietary restrictions, again, Colette and I can happily work with you to make sure that it's a place where we can accommodate to any allergies or preferences.
Hmm.
Well, you shared some really great moments, but do you have any other favorite memories from your recent trip that you went on, Colette?
Yeah, honestly, I just really loved the what they call sundowners, which is
Mhm.
that evening game drive. You start your evening game drive by picking a sunset spot.
Mm.
And I'm just obsessed with like sunsets. So they'll bring out snacks, they being the guide. The guide will bring snacks and he'll bring drinks if you want. You can bring wine, beer out there. And you just pick a spot and I mean, look at that. Like
Mhm.
that's my photo. You just sit there and just enjoy the beauty. And that was one of my favorite things that we did almost every day. And on the days when we weren't doing that, I was like, can we go? Like, I really want to go see the sunset. I know we have other things to do. Um, but yeah, that was probably my favorite part of the trip. And then just you get very close with the group that you are with because it's always small groups and you get very close with your guide who's with you the whole time. So
Mhm.
just kind of the connections that you make on these trips is really special. And it's just like so you're just like one with nature,
Mhm. Mhm.
Nothing, there's no street noise. Like, I'm in
No,
Cape Town
no
now. It's a
separation.
city. there's always something happening. You can always hear somebody, but it's just like you and the baboons, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, you and the it looks like a screensaver. These photos from your sunset, I was like,
Oh my gosh.
wow, that orange is magical. It
Yeah.
really is.
So
That's
many sunset pictures.
so, so many. And this was somebody's question in the chat, just about best time to travel. I think they were asking Colette just specifically for wildlife. So feel free to make that separation if there is any. But I know
Sure.
generally speaking, you said April to October is the best time, right?
Yeah, as far as weather goes, in my opinion, the best time is April to October. The seasons are opposite if you are in America or the Northern Hemisphere. So you do want to keep that in mind. American summer is South African winter, and it does get quite cold.
Mhm.
However, best time to see animals is also usually during our summer, their winter, because it is dry season. So there is less opportunity for animals to find water. So they tend to congregate a bit more to
Mhm.
watering holes. And also, a lot of the vegetation is dead. So you can like actually see just a bit further physically because there's not leaves and everything on the trees. So definitely, like as far as like what is their winter, June, July, August. But I went in April. Again, I had amazing sightings. We just finished a trip today, and I've already seen pictures of massive lions from their trip. So, and obviously it's October now. So that's, and also on the flip side of that, December, January, February, really into March is going to be hot,
Mhm.
hot, hot, hot. And the tents, if you are in the tent accommodations, which we normally are, they do not have air conditioning. So I like to let people know that. They do have fans, but they do not have air conditioning. And I'm quite sensitive to the heat. So that's why I say best time is April through October.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. And beautiful time to be able to, for those, especially with families that need to travel over the summer months, like it's a great option for you to be able to get away. And we know it's a long trip for most people to
Hmm.
get out
Hmm.
there. We are all doing that journey here shortly, so we know how hard it is, and you want to make the most of it when you're there.
Definitely.
So could you tell us about group size, Colette? Now, I know we
Hmm.
have like our standard how big our groups can get, but on average, it's often a little bit less in South Africa, right? Because of the accommodation piece.
It's definitely less in South Africa. Yes, we say across the board, we generally have a max of 16 people. You can cut that in half for South Africa. So again, just due to accommodations. Generally, I try to keep the groups around 7 people. This also has to do with how many people can fit in safari vehicles and
Mm-hmm.
wanting to keep the group together and not separate them in different vehicles. So, for that reason, these trips do sell out very fast. As
Mm-hmm.
you can see, I wanted to make sure we kind of literally just laid out what the availability is right now. So, if you have a private group that is bigger than 7 people, that's absolutely okay. Just, talk to us, let us know. And, we do have larger groups, but they got to be planned out a little bit more. So, it depends on how the rooming shakes out. But, yeah, so we do already have a few um, trips for next year where there's, as you can see, only one spot left, 2 spots left, 3 spots left. And we do have, shared spaces available for solo travelers as well if you don't want to pay that single room supplement premium.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and so in these notes where it says like one male spot left, I'm assuming that's because there's a male who's open to a roommate and you can avoid.
Exactly.
Perfect. Awesome.
Exactly. Hmm.
Wonderful. Yeah, so
Hmm.
lots of dates as you can see, but also Not that many when you look at the year and you realize that there's already quite a few dates that are looking in red. So if anyone does have, their eyes on some dates and you want to ask us what the demographic is shaking out to look like already and who's in there, please do let us know. But yes, did want to highlight that for next year, we
And
already have some limited availability. Looks.
it is possible to add dates as well. So again, if you have a group, just talk to us. We're very flexible. We're a small company. We work very closely with each other and our partners. So we try to be as flexible as possible. So if you're seeing, or if you're not seeing dates that work for you, it's always going to be 10 days, 9 nights. We don't change that aspect, but definitely just let us know and I will try and make it happen.
Yes, that's a great point. Yes, if anybody has any requesting for dates, you can let us know and we'll do our best to accommodate for sure. So I will open it up to questions and please feel free to chat. Before I go into some of them, just want to go over what is all included, as I know that's a common question for people. So really everything. The idea for us at Discover course to really make this almost all-inclusive experience when it comes to, pick up and drop off at the airport, everything in between when it comes to most of your meals. If there's ever not a meal included, it's usually because it makes sense. We're going to be doing a market experience or we're going to be going to a particular location where we can let you choose your own adventure. But you can almost assume that almost all meals are going to be included. And of course, clean drinking water. For you to be able to fill up your reusable water bottle at any point in time when you're at the lodging, also when we're on the road, reliable and comfortable transportation, all of your admission and entry fees to anything like advertised in our trips. If there's ever a supplement fee for, I don't know, zip lining or rafting, if you're going to Costa Rica, for example, we'll let you know that ahead of time and it's very clearly indicated on our itineraries. But generally speaking, you can assume that everything's included except your international airfare. We do have a third-party provider known as Wings Travel that can support in getting you some flight quotes. You don't have to book with them, but it is a service that we pay for you to be able to access. And they've been amazing, really. A lot of our travelers do use them in getting that support for flights and not having to do that work of looking what's available, when do I have to arrive, how do I get there in time? They handle that logistic for you, and are kind of that security. If anything goes wrong with your flights, they're going to be there to support you in the background. So again, you don't have to book with them, but it is something that we can send you some information to get in touch with them, and you can let them know which date you're considering, which trip, and they can get some quotes from your departing city. Traveler's insurance is also something that's not included, but as travel specialists, it's something we always advocate for because in case of any emergency leading up to your trip that could prevent you from going, that's what traveler's insurance is going to protect you against. So we do have a recommended company, which we can send you information. It lives on the travel portal, which Colette was showing you earlier as that resource. But we're always here to walk you through those resources as well. And then visas or vaccines. Colette, is there any visas or vaccines that people need to get for South Africa? No?
Nope.
No. Exactly. So really great destination for families or people in general to go to. There's not that much prep work that you have to do to get there. Other destinations like Kenya or Tanzania do have those elements. So that's often kind of a plus or like pro to South Africa option is you don't have to think about that as an added expense. And then, of course, alcoholic beverages, laundry service, all of those things are extra and gratuities for your guide and driver. But we do give that recommended amount for at all of our trips of what you can expect for tipping and what would be an appropriate amount. But of course, we know that's very personal as well. I threw my email or at least info@discovercore.com. I receive all of those emails, so feel free to shoot us a message after this if you have any follow-up questions, or you can give us a call as well. But I am going to stop sharing my screen here so I can see everyone's wonderful questions. One of them was how many people are each trip. So just to remind you, there's not a set amount per se. We technically say we can go up to 16 on our trips, but that's like a general rule. And like Colette mentioned, probably you can cut that in half and assume that it's 8 to probably 10 people on average for South Africa. So thanks for that question, Beth. Um, and then somebody else, what is the best time to visit to see the most wildlife? So Colette kind of mentioned that. I mean, April through October is a wonderful time just for that drier season and being able to see the animals. And can you do one extension prior and one after? That's a great question for Colette.
Sure. Yeah, you can definitely do one before and one after. I would just work a little bit more closely with you to work out those logistics, but our partners are very flexible with the extensions, so it does not have to be like you don't have to do both of them after. So yes, yes, you
Perfect.
can.
Awesome. Wonderful. Well, I don't know if anyone else has any questions, but now would be your time to ask. It's been so awesome having you, Colette, be able to share your experience in Cape Town. I mean, beyond just Discover Core, but then also, being able to have experienced our trip just this year and get a real hold on what that experience is for people and what that looks like on the ground. I'm excited to get to see you there soon and not experience the full trip, but pieces of it that make South Africa such a unique destination to explore. And we hope this encourages everyone to put South Africa on your radar and hopefully get out there sooner than later.
Yes,
Um,
I'd love to talk about it. I could have gone much longer. So if anyone wants to schedule a call with me and have me just talk your ear off, I'm happy to do it.
yes,
Pretty
absolutely.
cool job we have, Lynn,
I know. We just
talking
get to
about South
chat.
Africa.
Yeah. Yes, we get to chat about our favorite destinations. I had the privilege of going to Bali in May this year.
Mhm.
So if anyone's considering a totally different destination and you also want to go over the details, we're here for you all and want to make sure to build you these dream vacations because we know it's a huge investment for everyone to take that amount of time, take that amount of money and effort, and we want to make it really special. And we take everything in consideration for you all so that we can make sure that you're gonna have the most amazing time. And yeah, South Africa is a really great way to get to know us and our trips and have a well-balanced experience, when it comes to that relaxing nature, but also still connecting with the local communities and getting to experience like organizations doing really great work out there and highlighting them.
For sure.
Wonderful. Well, I don't think anyone has any other questions, so please email us. Super great to see a great turnout today and really appreciate everyone for your engagement and hope everyone has a great rest of their week.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks. Thanks, Colette, again for everything, and we'll see you soon.
All right. Bye.
Okay, bye.